When we look at a great oil painting, it is often the blues that strike us most deeply. The vast skies, the shimmering seas, the folds of sacred robes. Yet what many people do not realize is that blue has always been the most elusive and, for centuries, the most expensive of all pigments in art. Unlike earth tones, such as red ochre, yellow ochre, or burnt sienna, which could be dug directly from the ground in abundance. Stable and brilliant blue simply does not occur readily in nature. This scarcity gave blue a unique place in the history of painting, elevating it from a mere color to a symbol of wealth, power, and the divine. In the Renaissance and the Middle Ages, the most treasured blue was ultramarine. This pigment came from lapis lazuli, a semi-precious stone mined almost exclusively in the remote mountains of Afghanistan. The stone had to be painstakingly ground and purified to extract the fine particles that would yield the astonishingly deep and vibrant hue. The process was so laborious and costly that, at its peak, ultramarine was literally more expensive than gold. For this reason, artists could not freely use it at their discretion. Patrons often had to specifically commission ultramarine in their contracts, deciding where in the painting it would be applied most commonly to the robes of the Virgin Mary. In order to signify purity, holiness, and heavenly grace, to look at a medieval or Renaissance altarpiece and see those radiant blues is to see not only artistry, but also the immense wealth that was required to purchase the pigment itself. Other blue pigments existed, but none were perfect substitutes. Azurite, another mineral-based pigment, was cheaper than ultramarine, but it was prone to darkening over time, sometimes shifting toward a greenish black. Indigo, derived from plants, was widely used for textiles and could be applied to paintings, but it lacked the brilliance and permanence of mineral blues. Smalt, a pigment made from ground cobalt-containing glass, was also used, but it often appeared dull compared to ultramarine. The search for a reliable, luminous, and stable blue, therefore, remained a challenge for artists well into the modern era. The Industrial Revolution began to change this. Advances in chemistry allowed for the creation of synthetic pigments that could rival or even surpass natural ones. In 1828, synthetic ultramarine was invented in France, dramatically reducing the cost of this once unaffordable color. Around the same time, cobalt-based pigments such as cobalt blue and cerulean blue were developed. These gave artists brilliant, reliable blues that resisted fading, though they remained expensive because cobalt itself is a rare element, requiring mining and energy-intensive processing. Later in the 20th century, phthalo blue, often called phthalo blue, was introduced. This synthetic pigment offered unmatched intensity, transparency, and affordability, and quickly became a staple of modern palettes. Even today, however, not all blues are created equal. While synthetic ultramarine is inexpensive and widely used, genuine cobalt blue and cerulean blue remain costly, largely due to the global demand for cobalt in industries ranging from electronics to batteries. The fact that these colors are both chemically complex and reliant on a limited resource keeps their prices high for artists. Furthermore, oil paint manufacturers often grind these pigments with great care, suspending them in high-quality oils such as linseed or walnut oil, ensuring that they maintain their brilliance and stability for centuries. The labor, the raw material, and the legacy all contribute to the higher cost. Beyond economics and chemistry, the value of blue in painting is also cultural. Because it was so rare and so expensive for so long, blue became associated with ideas of transcendence and importance. Think of Giotto's frescoes, where the skies glow with ultramarine, or Vermeer's subtle use of blue to lend his domestic interiors a sense of quiet majesty. Even in the modern age, artists like Picasso were drawn to blue's psychological power, using it to convey mood, depth, and emotion. Every brushstroke of blue carries within it not only artistic intention, but also centuries of struggle to capture and control one of nature's most elusive colors. So when we ask, why is blue so expensive in oil painting? The answer stretches across geology, history, economics, chemistry, and art itself. It is expensive because the minerals that yield it are rare, because the processes to refine it are complex, because its symbolism has been elevated to the divine, and because even modern synthetic versions rely on materials and techniques that remain costly. In a way, this rarity has given blue a unique power. It has always stood apart, treasured and exalted above other colors. The next time you see a luminous blue sky in an oil painting, you can look at it not only as a patch of color, but as a window into centuries of human effort, miners digging in distant mountains, alchemists and chemists laboring in workshops, patrons weighing the price of beauty against their wealth, and artists striving to harness a color that seems to belong more to heaven than to earth.